Are you thinking about moving out of state? Not too sure where to start? Don't worry, I was once in that position and I'm sharing everything I wish I knew when I was in your position. If you like what you see, please be sure to like, subscribe, and keep on watching. What's happening, beautiful people? Welcome to Workplace Worth Academy, the place for job seekers and wealth builders seeking to build lifelong skills in career and money. I'm Jenny Lagulo, and I'm a career expert and educator. And today we are talking about moving out of state for work, relocation tips and tricks, and things you really need to consider at this time. I know your time is precious here, so I won't dive too deep on my experiences first. I'll wait for that at the end of the video, but please be sure to just watch the full thing. I break down all the neat details and resources you could leverage right now for free. Last thing that I would like to mention before we really dive into it, this video was created for people who are committed to moving. So it's not so much if I should move, it's when I'm moving, I need to know X, Y, and Z. So I'm hoping you spend some time before this video or maybe bookmark this video and really dive deep to understand your why for moving. Is it for family reasons, for business reasons? Really tap into your why and then watch this video so you can execute these steps. All right, guys, it's time to dive deep. Here are things to consider when you're relocating and moving out of state. You want to be sure that you research before you commit to an actual location. Definitely visit the new area if you're planning to move soon, but you won't really know what that experience will be like or what that neighborhood will be like until you're actually in it. Things like finding a new neighborhood or school for your kids if you have any, locating grocery stores, walking or driving distance so you're not in a food desert. There's a lot of odd local things that you need to consider before moving. For us, for Tad and I, we moved in and we didn't realize that refrigerators in SoCal are actually considered an amenity. You need to be leveraging data and facts at this time so you can get acquainted with new state laws that will impact your daily life. Our minivan did not pass the smog test, and that is such a deal breaker to have your mode of transportation just not work out. So to start leveraging data and vital insights, it's super important that you check out this awesome resource called citydata.com. This free site, and I promise I'm not even sponsored, this is just a resource I use for everything when I'm thinking about a new location, if I'm visiting, traveling, whatever. I check out this resource because I'm really interested. It's a site that offers an incredible snapshot of an area, so you can really dive deep into the population, traffic, what the commute will be like. What they do is they pull in government data and other reliable resources so that this information is accurate, and it's updated, I believe, every few years. You can literally fall into a rabbit hole looking at information because it's just so much and it's really rich content. Find out weather patterns, commute times, average medium household income. Really, a lot of content is in this resource. Highly recommend checking it out. You can really ground yourself and understand what matters most to you and why you're even moving there in the first place. All right, so you may have heard of employers offering relocation packages, but you're not too sure what that means or what that looks like. Well, let me break it down for you. When employers are looking for top talent and they can't find their, top or ideal candidates in a certain area, they like to extend their search potentially across the nation. And the truth is, relocation packages are so different depending on the company and what they value in securing that job offer to the candidate. So while some can offer, location or reimbursement for your moving expenses, some will actually provide you with like a service to help you pack and get your stuff situated, help with breaking a lease fee, really detailed elements. However, as glamorous as this sounds and how awesome it is to be paid to be moved, it doesn't happen as often as you think. In fact, I tell all my clients, and I'm telling you now, I would not bank on a relocation package for a job unless I am seasoned. So I'm someone who's in an executive level or director level, more of a managing type of role. You're specialized, so maybe you're like a nuclear chemist or I don't know, something really specialized in a field that they can't get anywhere else. So there's like a few of you and it's really competitive. Or you're moving to an undesirable small town, which if you know anything about millennials, we like to be in robust big cities. And unfortunately, if you're in a big city, there's a huge talent pool. You don't need to really relocate anyone when people are relatively close to the company. And the smaller the company, the less likely that they will offer you assistance with relocation. The bigger the company, and if they are in a small town or, they're really a few hundred miles away from a big town, I would say they would offer you a relocation package if, again, you meet that criteria of being a really specialized, seasoned candidate. And that's why it's super important to have an established value prop and understand what expertise you bring to a company. And if you're interested and if you're being ghosted, check out this video on career coaching. Here's the last pro tip if you're looking at relocation packages. If a company has extended you an offer and you need to relocate, then I would actually leverage the fact that the company is not covering those expenses and negotiate a higher salary. Now, I just want to switch gears really quick and say that I've noticed as a general consensus in the job hunt market that recruiters, employers, hiring managers, what have you, do not take you seriously if your address is not within that state. That is because you are a high-risk candidate. You're more likely to be flaky, things don't turn out, and that's a lot of money that, a recruiting agency or, a company will have to dish out. You're too much of a risk on their end, and if they can find someone that's local, maybe that's coachable, maybe they don't have all the skills yet, but they'll pursue that candidate even though you're qualified. I really want to drive home that it's important that you just take the leap and move first while you're job hunting. And I think it is scary, and you have to be able to have some savings, some money allocated for this move. But it's important that if you want to be taken as a serious candidate in the marketplace, you should move. If you're planning on moving and maybe just packing up your car and saying adios, drop a little moving box down in the comments. I want to hear where you're going and when. When it comes to housing, you have options. And it's a no-brainer if you have family in the new area that you want to move, or friends of friends, what have you. Leverage those relationships. They might not be fully in fruition, but I would honestly try to see if you can leverage that relationship, maybe nurture it a little bit more and start to see if that is a good, opportunity for you to kind of expose yourself to a new area. For this resource, I highly recommend using Facebook Marketplace. It's such a great resource for looking at rentals. I've noticed I've had better luck than looking at sites like Craigslist or Reddit. Sites like Facebook Marketplace, you just go down to rentals and you could check pricing or your deposit. It's really more flexible, and this person will take you far more seriously during your move, understanding that you're moving here for a reason, whereas a property manager may not trust you up front to put a deposit down, put the first payment down. Those are typically year-long leases if you're just a first-time mover in that location. So a sublease will be your best option. And using Facebook Marketplace has been a game changer for me because it's far more flexible. I have more of a buyer's mindset going into it. So I'm able to negotiate, hey, I know your or your rental listing says no pets, but if my dog is a certain, weight limit, X, Y, and Z. You are the person that's moving there. Cultivate those relationships and leverage Facebook. I just want to show you guys what that looks like because I'm such a fan of it, and yet I'm not sponsored by Facebook or the marketplace, but I just wanted to show you what that looks like. What's neat is you can also snag some furniture. Your safety comes first, and I say this knowing that the vast internet can be a very scary place for a lot of people like you who are thinking about moving. You're leveraging internet resources, websites and stuff like that, and it's scary because people are eager to capitalize on your desperate needs of finding a house. Might miss key signals of suspicious activities, and that's where I would just like to ring that bell and say, be careful, practice precaution, do not sign any checks online, do not give your personal information. A phone number's fine, an email's fine, but don't exchange banking, routing information. Be wise. Know that people can be really nasty when it comes down to someone who's desperate. So when it comes to actually looking for job opportunities, I think it's super important to keep an open mind. A lot of things you can consider, me being a career expert, so I'm just gonna lay it out and you can kind of take it with a grain of salt and see what best practices will work for you. I would recommend. I would actually remove your address in your resume, and not for a long period of time, but just for that initial moving period, whether that's a month or two. I think give it a go, see if it will help increase your chances. Some applicant tracking systems will vet for a zip code, so just be mindful of that, but just experiment, see if you can get a call for an interview by removing your address. Again, I'd like to drive home that since you are a risk candidate moving from out of state to a new location, I would definitely clarify in your cover letter that you are moving and it's not contingent on whether or not you get this specific job. You're moving, this is the new life that you would like to start, and you're really interested in this company because they offer X, Y, and Z. So be sure to craft a really meaningful cover letter expressing this concern, so that could put some anxiety to rest. I would actually go in and update your LinkedIn profile, update the zip code and the opportunities of where you want your next job to be. It's something that can help bring eyeballs to your application, to your profile, so highly recommend updating your LinkedIn profile with your new location. And my last point is I really want to stress the importance of having an open mind even when it comes to your jobs and the types of jobs that you can snag. One being remote gigs. Remote jobs, I believe in 2019, made up for 4.3 million people in the United States. And that's only a fraction of the time. So remote jobs are gaining a lot of momentum. It's good for you and employers. You both save money, and it's really neat if you're someone who is highly organized and can delegate your time to really, offer really good work and, be in your PJs. To find remote jobs, I would actually update your settings on LinkedIn, being open to positions like that. And I would leverage this neat website that I've used before for freelancing contract gigs, and that's remote.co. Great resource. It kind of breaks down by industries, by positions, and it's a worthy tool that I believe will help you find and secure a remote job. And sacrifices will have to be made. You'll have to follow a budget. You're, still getting your bearings in. So, you won't really know until you take that leap if it was worth it or not. So I'm always a fan of get uncomfortable to be comfortable, embrace the challenge, and just keep a positive outlook and seize opportunities, and you're golden. With that said, I just wanted to say that the first year of moving will be the hardest. You're not only getting used to, moving to a new location and understanding the dynamics, the culture, the neighborhoods, and making friends, but it's also getting your groove together and finding things that will bring joy in your life. And having a new job can be stressful in itself. So just want to say, keep an open mind, know that you need to put, some bearings in, and it will take time. I never regret moving to California. Even though we have some of the highest taxes in the country, I still love living here. The mountains, the hiking opportunities, you know, my husband likes to surf, so if you're grounded in your why, you can make it work. All right, guys, I hope you found this video to be super helpful. If you have any other tips that you'd like to share with the rest of the world, drop a comment down here. I want to know what are some things that you think can help people while they're moving out of state and relocating. Don't forget, guys, we all need time to glow up. Let's be bold and badass together. I'll see you guys in the next video.